All right, we're going to try this again. Welcome to another episode of the Sloppy Bro Show, special Sunday edition. Today, I'm going to be talking about why I have now changed my mind that all gun laws are unconstitutional and the realization that I just found out that police do not have to protect you uh, under the Constitution. This was something that I learned here just recently on one of my social media accounts. I had posted a comment, on how I believe that, we shouldn't have to pay taxes, period. That basically, taxation is theft. And that if we were able to keep all the money that we made and didn't have to spend them on taxes, you know, everybody's quality of life would improve. And, we wouldn't need, all the bullshit that, politicians like to push on us that they say we do, like healthcare and whatnot. So anyway, that as you can imagine, that caused a pretty big debate. And one of the things that was brought up was, well, if you're not paying taxes, how are you going to have police? So I got to doing a little digging, and sure enough, I came across an article back in 2005 by the New York Times that apparently the Supreme Court has ruled that it's not the police's job to protect its you know citizens, that they're not required by the Constitution to do so. And then that was proven again in 2018 when the students at Marjorie Douglas High School filed a lawsuit against the police department because they didn't protect them. And the Supreme Court once again came back and ruled that, hey, it's not required by the Constitution. They have no right or obligation to do that. So, hey, what's going on, Robert? Welcome. So, that got me to thinking, well, then if, the police aren't required to protect us citizens, why are we having all these damn gun laws, that won't allow us to protect ourselves or make it harder to protect ourselves? I mean, in that case, shouldn't every single gun law that's ever been written be considered unconstitutional? Period. So that as citizens, we can protect ourselves. As a matter of fact, I would even go as far as to say that shouldn't we have a law that requires any citizen in the United States over the age of 21 should be required to carry a gun to be able to protect themselves? I mean, I know it sounds probably crazy, but I mean, if they're not required by the Constitution to protect us, we should be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary, I would think. I mean, isn't that how it used to be in the Wild West in the 1800s? Didn't, pretty much everybody have a gun to protect themselves with? Because, I mean, they didn't have the gun laws back then that we do now. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think right now we've got somewhere in the likes of 30,000 laws on the books, gun law bills, right now. I mean, that's crazy. And they, in today's Democratic Party, they even want to go even further, you know, by banning all assault weapons, which I have no idea what an assault weapon is. Stopping the sale of the AR-15, one of the most popular, semi-automatic rifles on the market today. Wanting to ban, magazines that hold more than 10 bullets. I mean, it's crazy what the left is trying to do regarding our Second Amendment right. I mean, look what just happened, in Virginia. Thank goodness we had that big 2A protest. So, the main bills didn't get passed through. Oh, look, folks, we've got our regular dipshit jackass Jeremy in the chats today. Hey, what's going on there, Jeremy? Hope you're having a good Sunday morning. So yeah, I mean, all gun rights are unconstitutional as hell. Period. And what are we as the people going to do to change it? Especially now that we know that the cops don't have to protect us. And if they don't have to protect us anymore, if they're not required by what is their sole function, really? Are they just tax collectors? I mean, are they just out there supposed to be writing tickets, if you're speeding or, shit like that just to make money, for the local municipalities? I mean, Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking our men in blue. You know, I know there's a lot of good police officers out there that are doing their job. They are protecting and serving. But I'm just saying, if they're not required to by the Constitution, even though they took an oath to uphold the Constitution, aren't they violating that oath every time that, they try to enforce, some bullshit gun regulation or gun law? Well, revenue collectors, exactly. That seems to be their, primary function, to collect revenue. And if they're collecting revenue, why the hell do we need the IRS? I mean, don't they collect revenue as well? I mean, how many revenue collectors in this country do we need? Hell, I don't know. But anyway, I would like to know what everybody seriously thinks. I mean, do you think we need to pass a law where, over the age of 21, you're required to carry a gun? I would say 18, but you got to be 21 to smoke. You got to be 21 to drink. You do only have to be 18 to listen in the military and to vote. Personally, I think it should be all or one, 18 or 21. But since it's split right now, I think 21 is probably the better age to be made to carry a gun. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, I agree. At this point, I would agree that yes, they all should go away. Because I mean, I'm really starting to lose confidence in their functionality. And the purpose that they're designed to serve. Because you would think that the cops' primary function, apart from upholding the Constitution, would be to protect its citizens. You know, and since we know that's not to be true, and that's not the case, and that's not true. Why is the American public just rolling over and taking it? Why are they not? Why are they so anti-gun in this country? Why wouldn't they want to be able to protect themselves? I mean, if somebody breaks into your house, don't you want to be able to stop that intruder? Because statistically, if you don't have a gun, by the time the cops do get to you, you're more likely they're going to be getting there just to do the damn chalk outline on your body, and write a fucking report. There we go. I like the sound of that, Robert. 50 state reciprocity, concealed carry, 21 plus. Exactly. I could get behind that. I would think more people would get behind that too. But again, I just think that the public as a whole are just generally uneducated about this issue. I really believe that they think that, is the police's duty to protect and serve. And we're finding out that that's not the case. I mean, the Supreme Court already ruled against that, but I don't think people really know that. And I think if they did know that, they'd have a fucking hissy fit. Yes, I would agree with that, Robert. I do believe that the majority of the public is brainwashed. I wouldn't even say that so much that they're brainwashed as they're just, um, from what I'm seeing, the way the government likes to work and the way the media likes to work, they like to distract. I think they're just distracted. They're too busy watching the fucking, Real Housewives of Orange County or fucking The Masked Singer and that other dumb bullshit programming that's all over TV that, they're just not paying attention to what's going on around them, because they've been taught to stay in their bubble, and just not pay attention. I mean, that's just my opinion on the matter. I could be wrong. More than likely, hell, who knows? I just think it's crazy, especially, with the 2020 election coming around the corner. We've got this progressive left, mainly Sanders, who seems to be, winning the damn. Looks like he might get the Democratic, primary nomination as long as the DNC doesn't fuck him. Which, let's be honest, they still might, even though he is, getting the most of the delegates. From what I understand, he won Nevada yesterday, so he's going to be a pretty good contender for Trump. But we know Bernie's stance on guns. He's not a big fan of the Second Amendment. I'm pretty sure, given the opportunity, he'd like to do away with it. You would think that the Me Too movement would get behind the 2A, Robert. You're damn right. I mean, women, most of all, should be able to protect themselves, against fucking, attacks and rape and whatnot. What better way to level the damn playing field? I mean, if you've got a 110-pound, woman up against a damn 240-pound douchebag rapist, that woman who's 110 pound with the damn Glock 9, she's gonna have a better damn chance of walking away without getting hurt. I mean, how many women across this country, especially on college campuses, have been murdered and kidnapped, and raped, and because they weren't able to protect themselves and there was nobody there to protect them. I mean, you hear these stories every damn day in this country. That's right, strapped. Get strapped or get clapped. I believe that's the motto, isn't it? I didn't carry a gun for a long time. I didn't. My old man, I mean, I grew up with guns. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad had hunting rifles and whatnot. And then he sold most of them because he wasn't hunting anymore. But he always carried, at least a Smith and Wesson 38 hammerless. He did. Everywhere he went, it didn't matter. You know, that gun went with him everywhere. And if he had to go somewhere where you couldn't take a gun in, he'd give it to my mom. She'd stick it in her purse. Problem solved. But I never really got into, because mainly, for a long time, guns were expensive, uh, and I always found other things to spend my money on. But then when Taurus came out with the G2C, I realized I could get a damn 9mm for around $200. I went and bought one. I went to the sheriff's department, got my permit, and then I went and bought one, and then I went and got my concealed carry so that I could carry it with me everywhere I go without having to worry about getting arrested for carrying illegally. I wish I hadn't. I mean, I wish I didn't have to have a CC. I hate the fact knowing now that the government has got all my information, but honestly, they've always had the information. I mean, when you vote, you get a driver's license. I mean, they already build a damn you know database on your ass, especially when you're paying taxes. Yeah, New Jersey sucks. And as a matter of fact, I heard that a woman got arrested um, for having a gun in her trunk, unloaded, and she wasn't even in that state. Didn't even live in that state. She was just traveling through the state, and she was looking at 3 years. And then there was another gentleman who was an ex-military, you know, somebody that served in our armed forces. They got stopped with just having a magazine, just a magazine, and was looking at 3 years in New Jersey. I mean, it's fucking stupid. And that's how ridiculous some of these gun laws are. You know, people have got to start doing more to get this shit changed. And I know we've got Trump as our president. I mean, and overall, I've been happy with him as president, but I'm still concerned with him when it comes to our gun laws, because I mean he did ban bump stocks. Which some people don't think it's a big deal. Bump stocks are pretty stupid, but still, it's just the principle of the matter. And I have heard him say that he is for red flag laws, though he hasn't implemented it on a federal level. Maybe he just said that because he knew if the mainstream media heard it, they like to go against everything he says. Maybe they'd quit talking about it. And it seemed like it worked for a while. For a while. Oh, cool deal. You're gonna like it, Robert. I'm real happy with the G2C that Taurus makes. I mean, it's a fun gun to shoot, and it's an easy gun to carry. Um, I've put close to right now 500 rounds through it, and it's it's doing its job, man. I mean, it's right on the damn money. Hits the damn mark every time. So yeah, I mean, I think as a society, we've got to come to our senses, when it comes to guns and realize that there are a lot, we need them a lot more than people realize. You know, everybody should carry a gun, 21 or older, period. I think it's irresponsible if you don't carry a gun, especially if you've got a family, you know. And at the very least, if you don't feel comfortable with a handgun in your home, at the very least, you have a damn shotgun. At the very least, so that when somebody comes through, and if you're scared of guns, it's okay. It's understandable. You know, go take a course. You know, take a class, learn how to shoot. I guarantee you, after you take the class, you're not going to be afraid of guns. You know, you're going to feel comfortable with it. And the more you use it, it's just like any tool. The more you use it, the more proficient you'll get with it. To the point where it becomes second nature. You won't have to think about it. That's the responsible thing to do. The responsible thing to do is to own a gun. The irresponsible thing to do is to expect somebody else to protect your life, because it ain't going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. Because the reality is the government does not care about you and me, period. They don't care about the people. All they care about is the money that they can acquire from us through taxation. You know. And like I said in my social media post, I think taxation is wrong, all of it. It's theft, period. You know. When do the tax dollars actually go to things that I need? And not only that, but shouldn't the government have to do a GoFundMe, for things that they need? I mean, I see so many GoFundMe campaigns right now, especially for like medical shit. People trying to raise money to pay their medical expenses. If they were able to keep all the money that they made, wouldn't they be able to pay their own medical expenses? Especially if we got the damn pharmaceutical industry in check and the medical industry in check. I mean, really, $2,500 a night to stay in a hospital? I mean, shit, you could stay, it doesn't even cost that much to stay at the fucking Bellagio, in a fucking penthouse. The high roller suites don't even cost that much. But yet, if you're going to stay overnight in the damn hospital, $600 to ride in a fucking ambulance, really? I mean, really? I mean, the shit's overpriced, no doubt about it. But if we could bring in those costs and put limits, because I don't think healthcare is like fucking capitalism. You know, I don't think that. I think there should be caps and whatnot on it, because I know for a fact it doesn't cost $40,000 to fucking build a damn MRI machine, but yet it costs $40,000 just to sit in there and let one work. Mm-mm, that ain't right. Especially when there's no other alternative to the MRI machine. Yeah, the guy whose class I took was a former Marine, and his class was excellent. He made it fun. It was very informative. You know, it was the best damn $80 I spent. I'll put it to you like that. You know. Anyway, I could go off on the whole taxation thing. Actually, that could be a whole nother episode by itself. So I'm not going to really get into that. But as far as guns are concerned, people get educated, learn, get a gun, learn how to use it, protect yourself, start standing up for the Second Amendment. Let's, get together and get some of these damn gun laws off the books, you know, period. Guns are not the problem. People are the problem. Let's spend more money on, mental health. I mean, if you're concerned about, psychos and fucking the depressed getting the hand on gun, let's do something to change that. Let's invest money in the mental health for the people in this country that have health issues. Let's get them help. You know, that should be our main focus. You know, And then once they've got the help, let them carry a fucking gun. Anyway, I guess that's about all I got this Sunday morning. I've been streaming for about 20 minutes, so I think I kind of made my point. But anyway, if you agreed with what I said, let me know in the comments. If you've got a different idea, different opinion, share that, as well, man. I like to hear everybody's opinions on tip. I'm always open to new ideas and discussions. And like I said at the beginning, for those of you that have been supporting me, I really appreciate it. I'm only one subscriber away from 200, so I'm pretty psyched about that. I'm hoping maybe by the end of the day, I'll clear that 200 mark threshold. And the only way that can happen is if you guys share the videos, tell your friends, have them subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Every little thing helps. Anyway, as always, thanks for stopping by, and I will catch you motherfuckers on the flip side. Peace.